And we will get started with Joakim Bjurström. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. From Lina Baby in Sweden, and his presentation will be about the relationship between Toyota KATA and TWI. So it's going to be Toyota KATA and TWI J-programs, lessons learned so far, and how do these connect. Joakim, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me? I'm okay? I'm not too comfortable talking in microphones. It's like a filter to the world somehow, but I hope it's okay. My name is Joakim Bjurström. I'm a consultant, coach, educator from Sweden. Yesterday I heard from Johan Schuck that certifications is not a good thing, but to me it has. I'm a curious guy. I love to learn new things. So to me certifications, taking a black belt, Six Sigma, is just I want to know more. So I'm born curious and I hope to die curious. I had the fortune to be able to translate the KATA book into Swedish about a year ago. Thank you very much, Mike, for a great book. And I spent the summer translating TWI materials into Swedish, so we can do that in Swedish as well. Before I dig into what TWI is, how many of you have heard about TWI? A lot of you. Oh, great, great. I had the notion yesterday that TWI was sort of... Do we have any certified trainers?
What do you mean by certified trainer?
Have you done the...
There is a world certification body for TWI.
Have you done the 40-hour class?
Sorry?
The 40-hour class, so you can deliver the 10-hour class. That's my...
My colleagues, yes.
Okay. So there's still a lot of groundwork to do, and I thought I would spend some time on explaining what TWI is before going into the connection between KATA. But since most of you know about it, it's still we have a good chance to meet our time limit. To me, what it's all about is getting to the frontline managers or the supervisors, getting them stronger and stronger. And I think it's a mistake that we made in the lean movements that frontline managers have been surpassed a bit. And I said in my first picture, this is a Swedish perspective. That's what I know, the Swedish industry. But getting to the frontline managers, because the sort of frontline managers is the army. It is the way we can develop our organizations. That's my belief. Because people don't, in wars, they don't follow what the general says. They follow their closest commander. And I think it's true in organizations as well. The background about TWI is it was seen as a war effort. It's a program to help industry, to help itself get out more materials than ever been thought possible at a constantly accelerating speed. What it doesn't say is that they had to do it with unexperienced people. And that's the sort of key thing. I think Patrick Cowden is here. He had a good point yesterday that we talk about respect for individuals, and then we sort of skip that and move into known territory. We talk a lot about other things than what it means to show respect for people. I just stumbled upon a clip on YouTube. Rosie the Riveter. I'm sure you've seen this picture before. One of them, I'm not sure if it's the original Rosie, but she's still alive and she's still making bomb planes. Look her up on YouTube, it's funny. She's 94 years old, walks into a factory, slow and easy, but she can build planes. I think it's cool. There are 5 programs in the TWI case. the job instructions, which is meant to be or aimed to be standard work as it was supposed to be from the start. My experience from what I've learned so far, meeting a lot of customers or organizations out there, is that we are not very good at standardization. We can write SOPs for sure, but we have a serious problem getting people to actually work according to standard. At least in Sweden, we are very individual. I know a better way, so I use my own way. I know it says something else in the standard, but I'll go my own way. Job relations, respect for people. How do we get supervisors to act in a way that we actually want to, in a systematic way? Getting people to feel safe in their environment and prevent accidents and poor working conditions to occur. The job methods continuously improve. That was then taken by the Japanese and made into Kaizen. And the two last, job safety and problem solving, that's come along a little bit later. But the original three were the JI, JR, and JM, as far as I've understood it. TWI is delivered in a very standardized way. We follow the manual. I think it's pretty interesting when Mr. Heuser here talked about Industry 4.0. My manual was written by machine back in 1942. But I really enjoyed your session. And it's funny to see, when we talk about kata, we talk about threshold of knowledge. I think you've touched a few of our threshold of knowledge. When it feels pretty uncomfortable, we know that there's something going on there. So I think you did a good job there, Mr. Heuser. But the manual is very, very much alive. While translating it into Swedish, you realize, well, the language back in 1942 was a bit odd. We don't speak like that anymore, but in general, and when you do the 10-hour class and you read from the manual, because we work with the standards, so we always read by the manual, you realize it's all up to date. Not so much has happened since 1942. Supervisors need to keep track of production, cost, and quality. Is that the same with you? So it's pretty fascinating. In 70 years or so, not so much has changed in that way. It's delivered in small groups, maximum 10 people. And this is one way, to me, to show respect for people. I don't want to do a 10-hour class with 100 people just to have it done. I need to know that Joakim has learned, the other Joakim is, there's Joakim, has learned, and so on. So I need to have a close connection with the group, so a maximum group size of 10. Otherwise it's gonna fail. It's also made, since the main thing was to get out more products and materials than ever thought possible, the training had to be done while the work was being done. So a 10-hour class is divided into 5 2-hour sessions, 2 hours each morning, and the rest of the day we practice, coach, and try to learn how to do this. And by the end of Friday, we know that you know, and that's a big thing. But we don't keep people away from their work. The business can go on basically as it is during one of these sessions. And also, every participant has to actually show that they can do it. It's not a test, but you have to demonstrate. It's a live session. We do demonstrations, we do stuff to demonstrate our ability. Every of these programs has a 4-step method built into it. It's a learning process in 4 steps. prepare, present, applicate, and then test. And this goes way back into research about how human beings learn in the best way. And in real terms, in job instruction, the first step is to prepare the worker, make him come at ease. How many of you have done this? Just a few. Okay. So you need to get the person to feel welcome. It's a one-on-one. It's not a group thing. I teach you individually. On the job training, one-on-one. So it's a pretty time-consuming concept to get into. But the opposite, if we don't train our workers one-on-one, all the defects, all the problems, all the issues that you have, how much time is that going to consume over longer periods of time? Next step is to present the operation. Which means that me as a trainer or a coach need to have a very good understanding of what this work is about. And the way I do that is I need to ask the people doing the work, because I can't present something that I don't understand. So it's a really deep knowledge of what the work actually is to be able to do this. Once I've showed it, illustrated it, told about it, the person I'm training will do the same thing back again. Try, try, try. And we try until I know that you know. We don't give up midway. And the last step that we usually skip is the follow-up. I'll be back in an hour to see how you're doing. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back until I know everything is okay. And this is one of my life lessons that I've learned. That if the worker hasn't learned, the instructor hasn't taught. Or if the student hasn't learned, the teacher hasn't taught. I can tell you it's quite a revelation for young students when I come in at the local university that I teach. And I tell them, it's not your fault if you don't understand. It's me who's a poor teacher. So ask, challenge, tell me if you don't understand. It's not your problem, it's my problem. I had a student, he was just dropping his cheek and said, no teacher's ever told me that. Well, it's different this time. So whatever you bring with you from this conference, that's a good quote to have. It's never the receiver's fault. It's the transmitter who's at fault if the message doesn't come through. So, to be able to teach, to be able to learn someone else how to do a job, we need to break it down into important steps, key points, and the reasons why there are key points. And in the process of doing this is where the trick is, and this is where I mean the respect for individuals comes to life. The key points. Anything that can make or break the job, injure the worker, or make it easier to do. And to be able to find that, I need to ask all the experience, I need to grasp all the experience that is out there, all the knacks, tricks, feel that are in the process. So, to be able to do this, I need to show respect. I need to have a humility, a humble approach to it, because I can't know exactly everything in a job. And then TWI and Lean, well, it's basically the same, because I mean that TPS was built on the foundation of TWI. So now here's the TWI KATA connection. There's an obvious connection because they're all KATA and TWI. They come from the same place. TWI was the original. Teichi Ono was actually a TWI trainer. I discovered just before the summer. I didn't know that before. And they're both developed to change the behavior and thinking of individuals, not people as a group, individuals. It's aimed for you. I think the beauty of the coaching kata, where I need to know where you are, same thing with TWI coaching, I need to know that you know. It's my responsibility that you know. So since they come from the same place, of course there's an obvious connection. And it's a learn by doing concept. You can't learn the job in a conference room. You need to be out there practicing your actual job process. Scientific thinking, kata experiments, you can't do that in a hotel room or conference room. You need to be at the gemba. Learn by doing. So what it all boils down to is we have not only one coaching card, we have several. Sorry. So there's a card for every program. You know your script, you stick to the script. And Clara, you know what Patrick Graup always says, stick to the script. I think it's the same thing with the coaching card. Learn and lead by repetition. Behavioral patterns, create a pattern, all the way. Did anyone jump on that it's a Swedish card, coaching card? Do you know what it says on the coaching card? Same thing, of course. So lead by repetition. We have a model, we stick to the script, we ask the same questions. It's pretty amazing when the master trainers of TWI is out there looking at and verifying that TWI trainers are doing a good job. They can do it in any language. The TWI master trainers, they know you're following the script. Doesn't matter what language. It's pretty fun, which makes it a lot easier to spread and get the message across. So stick to the script. That's my main thing. So the conclusion is kata is the scientific way. We find new methods, and with TWI we actually lock that in. Our new process, which is not stable at first. The time that it needs to stabilize, we can shorten that with considerable and systematic training, so that it stabilizes within days, weeks, instead of months or years. And in the end, it's all about the people. It's all about what's in your head. It's all about how I, as a teacher, coach, manager, supervisor, actually behaves. So it's not about tools, it's not about methods, it's about how we think. How do we create the behavioral patterns that are actually getting the job done? That's the main thing. So, keeping it a bit short, getting the schedule back on track. Any questions or? Brandon.
So, Joakim, I've sat through the 10-hour course, and I, at a previous organization, worked as business development to deliver the service through clients with other project managers. And one of the issues we've had is the 10-hour course, when you're finished with it, the routines afterwards have a tendency to degrade just as a Kaizen. What's been your experience? Do you continue to follow, when the follow-up part of the card, do you continue to follow up with clients and come back and coach again and again? And for how long of a period would you say you have to do that before it becomes a true routine as the coaching kata and improvement kata do?
A general journey is, if you do a 10-hour class, 6 to 8 weeks, we come back and usually we do the JR session, which is less practical, and we spend most of that week with follow-up and continued coaching on. But you need a couple of weeks to sort of try to wrestle with it yourself, because it's your learning curve.
But you can come back with additional support coaching?
Absolutely, yes. We follow up until we know that you know.
Okay.
If we're allowed to come in. Yeah, I agree. That's a typical Kaizen event stuff when you lose it afterwards. No.
Actually, Joakim, I grabbed the microphone,
sorry.
and then I'll give it back, and it'll come your way. Not really a question, but a comment. That this is a Lean Educator conference, right? And Joakim's been talking about one of the most successful educational systems that was utilized for specific purposes ever, right? So I don't think the message is we should copy this, or the message is kind of like, oh wow, this worked. It worked really well. What can we as Lean educators learn from this? And I think it matches well also with some of the brain research that's been going on. So I'd like to thank you, just like you thanked Bernd for his presentation, also for bringing us to a threshold of knowledge, saying, wow, how did they do that in the 1940s? And we have a similar mission, which is to spread lean thinking and teach lean thinking. There may be something here that we can use.
I think so, yeah. We had Timo, wasn't it?
I have 2 more questions, and then we'll move to the next presentation.
Thank you, very excellent presentation.
Thank you.
I was thinking about different contexts. What kind of context have you tried this within, and what are the different adjustments that you have to make depending on if it's a factory context or knowledge work or so on?
We've done everything from packing parcels at the Danish Post. Danish Bank has done quite a lot of work. Novartis, the medical company, has done quite a lot of training. They're actually thinking about a global rollout, and there are 100,000 people. You need to do it in groups of 10. Quite a fantastic journey. But it's in all context, because it's not about the process, it's about how you learn. So no matter what your process is, you can use TWI. And then of course you don't do it on all your processes, because you're going to drown in job breakdown sheets. But you do it where you have safety issues, quality issues, delivery issues, and to get the process working.
Okay, yeah, thank you for linking the two things together. You made the trainer responsible for the trainee that he has learned something.
Yeah.
One of the prerequisites is the willingness of the trainee to learn. I think there's a border for some persons, or how do you deal with this?
That's why usually the JR, job relation stuff, comes after the job instructions, because how do I relate to my co-workers? How do I get the message across? The first point in my script is get the learner at ease. And if we don't talk or cooperate, well, we don't have the sort of the setting to learn properly. So that's why you need proper supervision.
Oh, yeah, thank you for sharing our passion. This is important, and I think it's important to learn about how we get people to do the things we want to do because they want to do it. That's what you were talking about with job relations. I just want to react on 2 topics. You were asking about, do you have a follow-up? And I think you were questioning about, can you use it for everything? And I just want to make a remark. So I think you can use this for learning skills. And I think, TWI says that instructing is a skill we can use. And that's what we learn. So the job instruction is made for learning skills. It's not for getting the knowledge. It's important to know. So you have a skill you have to practice. That's where you use job instruction for. And in that case, instructing is also a skill. So I fully agree, we have to follow up and we have to exercise. And I noticed that making job breakdowns is a skill people really need to get help through. And that's where we have to follow up. Just wanted to mention.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. We are right on schedule. Thanks a lot, Joakim.
Thank you.